Social media is consuming us. As we grow in numbers, so do our social media accounts. Kit Smith, who wrote the article Marketing 96 Amazing Social Media Statistics and Facts of 2016 on brandwatch.com, states as of July 2015, there are 7.3 billion people in the world. 3.17 billion are internet users. 2.3 billion have active social media accounts. And an average internet user has 5.54 social media accounts. And social media accounts have grown 176 million since last year. I haven't had my Facebook account in over 6 years. It's definitely more of a blessing than a curse. I have my reasons for not having my Facebook, but I will say when I was in middle school, I was addicted to my AIM, my AOL Instant Messenger. When I would get home from school, I'd do my homework, I'd eat, and then I would go straight to my room and log into my AIM, and I'd talk to all my friends in my class. It became a routine for me. Would you ever think that social media could be addicting? I'm sure a lot of you thought yes, and I'm sure there's some of you that are thinking, am I addicted to my social media? Well, today I'm going to talk about SNS, social networking site addiction. I'm going to talk about diagnosis, any warning signs to look out for, symptoms that you may have, and also possible cures for this addiction. I'm going to start off by talking about the diagnosis of SNS addiction. If you feel like you are overly concerned with your social media, you're immersed in it, like you're not aware of the outside world, social networking is your world, you're neglecting important duties like school or work, neglecting any relationships you may have with friends or family, that's a huge sign of SNS addiction. According to the article on SpringerLink.com, Online Social Network Site Addiction, a Comprehensive Review, written by Cecilia Schau Anderson, excessive and compulsive online social networking behavior has been suggested as a behavioral addiction. SNS is also connected to egocentrism. Egocentrism is where you believe you are the center of attention. Your beliefs, your thoughts, your interests come before anybody else's, and you neglect everybody else's beliefs and thoughts. For example, in the article Online Social Networking and Addictions, a review of the psychological literature by Daria J. Kuss, egocentrism has been linked to internet addiction. Supposedly, the egocentric construction of social networking sites may facilitate the engagement in additive behaviors and may serve as a factor that attracts people to using it in an excessive way. So now that you understand the diagnosis for SNS addiction, I'm going to go over some warning signs and symptoms to look out for. Pretty much a play-by-play of how this addiction works. Andressen states in Online Social Network Site Addictions, a Comprehensive Review, SNS addiction shares many similarities with those of other addictions, including tolerance, withdrawal, conflict, salience, relapse, and mood modification. I'm going to go over each one of those and how they relate to SNS addiction. Number 1 is tolerance. Your urge to use your social media more and more to get your fix, to get that pleasure that you want. Number 2, salience. You are constantly thinking about your social networking site and how you're going to free up your time to get on your social networking site. It's constantly going through your mind all throughout your day. Mood modification. you're using your social media to diminish any kind of feelings you may be trying to push out. For example, anxiety, stress, etc. You're also using your social media to avoid any personal problems you may have, kind of like an alcohol addiction, when you're going to drink instead of solving that problem head on. Same thing with SNS addiction. And number 4, withdrawal. When you can't engage on your social media, you experience irritability, restlessness, you're stressed, and you're irritable because you cannot get on your social media site. And last but not least is the conflict. You're prioritizing things incorrectly. Social media is at the top of your list, whereas work may be number 4, family may be number 5, and friends are number 6. So you're prioritizing important things at a lower level. Also, this can affect your health, quality of sleep, relationships that you may have, and your well-being all around. Isn't it interesting how similar SNS addiction is to a drug addiction? Doing my research, I was appalled at some of the things I was reading and how similar they are. Now that you can point out symptoms, here are possible cures for this upcoming addiction. Since it's new, there are not many cures. A lot of proposed therapies or interventions to help with SNS addiction. According to online social networking site Addiction, a comprehensive review by Andreessen, there has been little, if any, empirical testing of prevention or treatment for this behavioral addiction. Although certain self-help strategies, therapies, and interventions have been proposed. Also, according to what I learned in 12 weeks of therapy for social media addiction by Sarah Kessler, an online therapy company called Talkspace was created. It connects more than 300 licensed therapists with 200,000 clients via smartphone and desktop apps. It was the first program of its kind designed to help you manage your use of and response to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc. So even though this is an upcoming novel addiction, there are ways to help. Please get the help you need. SNS is very similar to a drug addiction, alcohol addiction, even gambling. Excessive amounts of anything can lead to addictive ways. According to Pew Research, in the article, social media users highly engaged daily in their social media, my chart next to me points out that Facebook has 70% of users that daily are on their Facebook, and only 9% use it less often. From Sarah Kessler's article, What I Learned in 12 Weeks of Therapy for Social Media Addiction, Roni Frank, the software developer who co-founded Talkspace with her husband, says, though everyone says they're addicted, they aren't necessarily motivated to solve the problem. She compares it to cigarettes. She quotes, in the early years, people were smoking like crazy, she says, and at some point everybody started to be aware of how harmful it is. I think the same thing will happen with social media and how it is basically promoting poor mental health. Don't sit behind a computer screen. Go out there and create yourself your way.